Something unusual happened in the agricultural world over 150 years ago, something so effective, so transformative, and so threatening to the rising industry of manufactured fertilizers that lawmakers moved swiftly to shut it down. The method didn't fail, wasn't dangerous when handled correctly, and certainly wasn't ineffective. It was banned for a very different reason. It made ordinary farmers independent. It empowered families. It produced food in quantities that embarrassed commercial interests. And even today, the science behind it remains so powerful that gardeners who rediscover it often describe the results as nothing short of shocking. Across Europe and America in the mid-1800s, farmers suddenly found themselves capable of turning worn-out soil into rich, productive earth in a matter of days. Barren plots came back to life, stubborn clay loosened and darkened, crops grew faster, and yields doubled, and in some regions even tripled. For families who lived season to season, praying for food security, this wasn't a technique, it was salvation. And yet, the practice was forced into the shadows, labeled unsanitary, old-fashioned, and eventually outlawed. Today, with modern science, safe handling methods, and proper sanitation, this once forbidden technique can be revived, legally, safely, and effectively, right in the backyard of any home gardener. And by the time this story ends, the reason behind its power becomes clear. It works faster than compost, richer than manure, and more sustainably than anything sold in a plastic bag at the garden center. The lost secret that fed civilizations. To understand why this banned soil trick became so widespread, we need to step back into the 19th century, an era when cities swelled, populations exploded, and fertile farmland grew increasingly scarce. Farmers were desperate for solutions. They needed something dependable, potent, and affordable. And they found it in a resource that was available to every household on Earth. The concept wasn't invented in Europe. It had already been perfected in Asia centuries earlier. In China, Korea, and Japan, nothing organic was wasted. What left the home returned to the soil in carefully managed, sanitized, aged form. Farmers treated it as a nutrient resource, not trash. The system was so effective that Chinese farmland remained fertile for thousands of years without modern fertilizers. In Japan's Edo period, waste was so valuable that wealthy neighborhoods competed for merchants to buy it. It literally had market value. When European cities like London began adopting similar cycles, night soilmen worked under darkness, collecting waste not to dump it, but to deliver it. Farmers spread it on depleted fields, and the transformation astonished them. Grain heads grew fuller. Vegetables matured stronger. Soil became darker, looser, richer. To poor families, this practice meant survival. But success doesn't guarantee acceptance. The ban, more politics than science. As the Industrial Revolution surged forward, cities became crowded beyond imagination. Streets overflowed with people, water sources grew contaminated, and disease spread through urban centers with frightening speed. And in the chaos, public officials made a decision that reshaped agriculture forever. Anything associated with city waste became labeled dangerous, even if the danger came from mismanagement, not the method itself. At the same time, chemical fertilizer companies were beginning to rise. Newly mined Chilean nitrate appeared in mass quantities. Soon after, the Haber-Bosch process began manufacturing nitrogen on an industrial scale. Fertilizer could now be packaged, shipped, branded, marketed, and profited from. The advertising campaigns were ruthless. Old systems were portrayed as filthy, outdated, and risky. Governments joined the movement, pushing for sanitation reforms that flushed nutrients away rather than cycling them back to the land. So the farmer's miracle method did not disappear because it failed. It disappeared because it couldn't be patented. It couldn't be sold in a shiny bag. It couldn't be taxed or monopolized. And yet, even as it vanished from Western fields, agronomists and historians quietly noted a truth that remains undeniable. Handled correctly, this banned method is one of the most nutrient-dense soil boosters ever created. What made it so powerful? Most gardeners today rely on compost, and compost is wonderful. It enriches soil structure, increases water retention, and feeds microbes that support long-term soil health. But compost works slowly. It decomposes over months, releasing nutrients gradually. The banned method was different. Its most valuable component, urine, contains nitrogen levels comparable to store-bought fertilizers. It also offers readily available phosphorus and potassium in forms plants absorb rapidly. That means growth happens faster. Leaves green up sooner. Roots strengthen earlier. In the 1800s, agricultural journals called it liquid gold, because time after time, crops fed with diluted urine outperformed those given compost alone. For families living off their harvests, this rapid nutrient availability meant the difference between security and hunger. 1. Diluted urine fertilizer. Fresh urine is sterile in healthy individuals. When diluted, typically 1 part urine to 10 parts water, it becomes a free, fast-acting fertilizer for heavy feeders. A gentler mix of 120 is perfect for seedlings and container plants. Apply only to soil, not foliage. Rotate spots weekly to prevent overload. Use during morning or evening for better absorption. 2. Composting toilets and humanure systems. These systems heat waste to pathogen-destroying temperatures, then age it for at least a year. The result is a nutrient-dense, safe, humus-like compost. Eco-villages, off-grid communities, and regenerative farms use these systems successfully. 3. Community-based nutrient recycling. Projects like the Rich Earth Institute have created organized, p-cycling programs, sanitizing donated urine and returning it to farms. The results? Lower costs, high yields, reduced synthetic fertilizer use, and healthier soils. The lesson is simple. The old method wasn't wrong, only incomplete. Modern science fills in the gaps, making it safer and more effective than ever. Practical tips for senior gardeners. Older gardeners often want easier methods that reduce lifting, bending, and physical strain. This approach is perfect because it requires almost no effort and nearly zero cost. The deeper truth behind this story, this banned trick, is not just a tale about old farming practices. It's a reminder that nature has always offered solutions long before industries tried to package them for profit. Nothing in nature is wasted. Every leaf becomes soil. Every organism contributes to the next cycle. When that cycle was broken in the name of convenience, landscapes degraded, soil lost life, and farmers became dependent on products that promised quick fixes but delivered long-term instability. The technique that was once banned can now be reborn, safely and responsibly. Not as a relic of the past, but as a powerful tool for the future. If this journey into forgotten soil wisdom sparked something in you, don't let it end here. Share it with a gardener who loves discovering hidden truths. And if you want more stories where ancient knowledge meets modern science, make sure to stay connected. Because the soil beneath our feet holds far more secrets than we've been taught to believe.